Hello and welcome or welcome back to Writer Makes Videos. My name is Jess, and today I'm going to be talking about the various softwares that writers use and the ones that I commonly use, at least in my own writing, and I'm just going to talk about those today and kind of the process that I go through from start to finish, basically which softwares I use when and how. So I hope you'll stick around for this video, and thank you so much for watching. So to start out, a lot of the times what I like to do is I like to open Google Docs. So Google Docs is just kind of a blank sheet. I know some people have done some really cool things with like actually formatting their books and things in Google Docs. I am not one of those people. I just use Google Docs as a primary hub for a lot of my research. So what that means is I take a lot of the notes that I have in various notebooks, the things that I know are going to be established pieces of lore or otherwise, and put them into the Google Doc and then sort it in there, keeping it separate from all of my other writing, keeping it separate from any other docs, just kind of avoiding clustering and avoiding like oversaturation in any other of the software that I use. And I feel like Google Docs sits separately well enough that it works really well as just kind of like a research gathering space. So anytime I need to look something up, it's really easy to pull up all of my different lores and things like that to be able to just refresh myself on my own world and the things and the truths that I have established. When I'm finally ready to write, I do the entirety of my writing process in Scrivener. So I know Scrivener isn't super accessibility friendly with the, it being behind kind of a big paywall, but at least you only pay it once. So if you can, I would encourage you to. At least for me personally, it's always been just such a good hub to keep all of my writing without the feeling of Google being able to read any of my work. So the way that I like to use Scrivener is writing the book in its entirety. So I don't use a lot of the like cork boards or anything like that. I know people who have gotten really in depth, just like Google Docs, just like with any of the processes and the softwares I'm going to be telling you about today, have used Scrivener in some incredible ways, have used it to actually format and create their own ebooks. I have not gotten into that part at all. I just utilize Scrivener really for maintaining the story. So how I like to set it up is on the tabs side where all of the like manuscript outlines and things are, I like to break up each of the sections into parts, then chapters, and then inside of the chapters is not a cluster of different scenes, it is one text block. So I write the entirety of a chapter inside of one single page in Scrivener, and I edit it in there, and then I move on to the next one. So I don't think that's, I mean, perhaps Scrivener could be used to take those out and transform them into an actual manuscript. I don't personally know. If you know if that's possible, because I know there's tagging features in each of the sections that you can designate something as an entire chapter or not. I don't know if that makes a difference. I've never actually tried it, but if somebody knows, please feel free to like comment and let me know, because I'd be really interested in that. Finally, after I've done my like continual pass of edits in Scrivener, so the way that I write is I take it chapter by chapter. I am a linear writer. At least in this second book that I am writing, The Shattered Shores, I have bounced around actually quite a lot, but it's always pretty linear. Like I'm writing the next scene for a certain character's POV instead of writing something at the end, then writing at the beginning. I've gone from chapter 1 all the way down to chapter 23 right now, I think. And it's all been pretty linear, just minus a few, you know, twists and turns that I'm not writing technically the next chapter in the book, but I'm writing the next chapter for the character. You get it. So once I do my overall edit for each chapter, I will then take those chapters and I will retype them into Word, word by word. This is a new process for me. I have not done that before. It's usually just been a copy and paste into Word and then going through with the quick check on edits and going from there. So doing the quick like spell check and things like that and adding all of the words into the dictionary that are my own words that I've made up, because I've got to do that each time that I write in a Word doc. But this time around, what I've done in Word is I have actually typed all of the words from each chapter into the new document. And that's been really interesting. I've caught a lot more that I don't think I would have otherwise by just copying and pasting, obviously. And I think I've done a lot better of an editing pass this time around, just because it feels like I have such a good core base, and I've done a lot of the tinier edits as I've written in Scrivener, so translating it into a new document just feels like a fresh start, but having all of the ingredients that I need to really cook. After I have gone through and typed my entire manuscript, the next part is formatting for ebooks and paperbacks and all of that good stuff. And so this time around, I am interested in using Vellum. I have done Vellum before. I have like inserted things into Vellum, but I've never actually gone and pressed pay to buy the licensing for Vellum. It's relatively expensive, so I can understand if that is not within your budget. Luckily enough, Kindle Create works. You can save the EPUB. You don't necessarily have to publish it to Kindle, but you can take that information and package it into an EPUB for yourself to use, just as a reference to share for ARCs or anything of that nature. So that could be a hack for people. That's what I've done with The Destined Road because I haven't had the opportunity to kickstart it in Vellum. The only thing that happens with that is when you use Kindle Create, instead of uploading it to Amazon, what'll happen is that you won't have a cover. That doesn't really matter for me. I know it matters for some people. As long as you're reading my work, it's not really something that I super care about, but I will be using Vellum in the future. I will eventually have enough funds to get the licensing for it, and so that will be my next course of action. But that's my software for ebooks. And finally, for the paperback, I don't really love turning these specific documents into e-publications. I have tried and failed miserably because linking and things is so much harder in this software. It's InDesign. I utilize InDesign to create my paperbacks, to format my books, paperbacks and hardbacks. So I have used it to format my books, and it just offers a lot of creativity. It offers a lot of flexibility as well, instead of being contained to what Vellum will allow you to do, because Vellum will also allow you to create paperback books and format paperback books as well, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of flexibility in it. There are for like cover pages and things like that. I haven't found a way to alternate fonts or anything like that. If maybe it's something that's behind the licensing that I just haven't gotten into yet. So I will update you all if that is the case. Overall, that's my process from start to finish. I start in Google Docs with my lore and all of the truths of my world that I want to remember. Scrivener, I take and do the entirety of my manuscript in. I separate it by chapters and parts and work until I am completed and edited at least 1 or 2 passes for each chapter. Then, taking all of that, I translate it all into Word, where I retype each word into Word until it is complete and I send it off to my editor. Vellum or Kindle Create are awesome for creating e-publications and a lot more user-friendly perhaps than trying to do what my final software is, which is InDesign, and the formatting and creating that is involved in that. What I want to say with all of this though, as I say with pretty much any sort of recommendation I give or any sort of process video I try to explain, is that you don't need to use any or all of these to make your book. I understand that there are a lot of barriers to entry, especially within the indie publication space, so using what is available to you is great. So Google Docs is free. You can write your entire manuscript in it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pen and paper is also a great alternative for just getting your words out there and onto a page until you can get to a library or something to actually type all of your words out. There are alternatives to Word, which are, I like to use LibreOffice. So if you haven't gotten that. It's a not-for-profit office suite, and their products are really great. I've used them a lot. I do have the subscription for Word, and that is what I use mainly because I have it. And I do use it for work as well, so that's kind of why I still keep it. Vellum and Kindle Create. Kindle Create is free. It's a free option that you can use to create an ebook. Vellum, obviously, as I've stated, has the paywall of the one-time licensing fee, or you can buy, I think you can buy an individual license for a paperback or something like that, but it just makes more sense to buy the entire license. Additionally, it is only on Mac, so that could also be a barrier to entry. I don't know of any other e-publication softwares other than like InDesign and using something like that to turn it into an e-publication. If you guys do, let me know, because I haven't done a whole lot of research into other options because I have found the options that have worked for me. And then finally, InDesign, a huge barrier to entry. Users who have never done any sort of document design before and also don't want to pay the $60 a month fee for Adobe. It is a lot of money, and it is a crazy sort of thing to do. In just my time researching for alternatives to InDesign, one of the ones that I have used before is Affinity Publisher, I believe. And that one, I think, is a one-time purchase of $54 or something of that nature. So significantly less than paying $60 a month. And it's got all of the same kind of features as InDesign does. Like I said, I have used Affinity before for other products, and they're very comparable. I just don't remember entirely on the purchasing part. I think it's a one-time purchase. Yep, I just confirmed it's a one-time purchase. So that could be a definite alternative to using an Adobe product. As well, I just looked up a couple to see if there was anything free in the realm of Adobe InDesign, and I found Scribus.net. It seems kind of interesting, and I might actually try it out. CreativeBlock.com says finding a good free open source InDesign alternative isn't easy, but there is one in the form of Scribus, first launched back in 2001 when it would have been a Quark Express alternative. I have not used that. Scribus provides an InDesign-like interface and a lot more features than you would expect from a free package. It says, while Scribus isn't likely to become as powerful or feature-rich as InDesign, it's a great alternative if you're working in indie publishing or on a personal side project and prefer to use a design package. Scribus is available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So that's a great thing to know. And I might actually give that a shot. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just want to do more of these kind of, here are some tools, here are some things that you can look into for your own processes in indie publishing. So if you did enjoy this, or you want some more recommendations on other processes or other softwares that perhaps I can sit and look into a little bit more and do kind of an in-depth dive, please let me know. But thank you so much for sitting here and watching today, and I will see you in the next one.